In this topic, we will discuss how the world began. Perhaps you are also one of those who wonder how and when our galaxy or the world began. Perhaps you are also one of those asking how all the things we see on the surface of the Earth were made or how they started or where they started. You have probably heard a lot of speculations or theories from our scientific experts based on their thorough analysis. Let's get started. Our universe was born about 13.7 billion years ago in a massive expansion that blew space up like a gigantic balloon. That, in a nutshell, is the Big Bang Theory, which virtually all cosmologists and theoretical physicists endorse. The evidence supporting the idea is extensive and convincing. We know that the universe is still expanding even now, at an ever-accelerating rate. Scientists have also discovered a predicted thermal imprint of the Big Bang, the universe-pervading cosmic microwave background radiation. And we don't see any objects obviously older than 13.7 billion years, suggesting that our universe came into being around that time. All of these things put the Big Bang on an extremely solid foundation, said astrophysicist Alex Filippenko of the University of California, Berkeley. The Big Bang is an enormously successful theory. The beginning. Traditional Big Bang theory posits that our universe began with a singularity, a point of infinite density and temperature whose nature is difficult for our minds to grasp. However, this may not accurately reflect reality, researchers say, because the singularity idea is based on Einstein's theory of general relativity. So the very beginning of the universe remains pretty murky. Scientists think they can pick the story up at about 10 to the minus 36 seconds, 1/1,000,000,000 of a trillionth of a trillionth of a second after the Big Bang. At that point, they believe the universe underwent an extremely brief and dramatic period of inflation, expanding faster than the speed of light. It doubled in size perhaps 100 times or more, all within the span of a few tiny fractions of a second. This rapidly expanding universe was pretty much in T of matter, but it harbored huge amounts of dark energy, the theory goes. Dark energy is the mysterious force that scientists think is driving the universe's current accelerating expansion. During inflation, dark energy made the universe smooth out and accelerate. But it didn't stick around for long. It was just temporary dark. Carroll told it converted into ordinary matter and radiation through a process called reheating. The universe went from being cold during inflation to being hot again when all the dark energy went away. Scientists don't know what might have spurred inflation. That remains one of the key questions in Big Bang cosmology. Filippenko said. Another idea. Various lines of evidence point toward inflation being a reality, said theoretical physicist Andy Albrecht of the University of California, Davis. Said Albrecht, one of the architects of inflation theory. Inflation has done incredibly well. However, inflation is not the only idea out there that tries to explain the universe's structure. Theorists have come up with another one called the cyclic model, which is based on an earlier concept called the ekpyrotic universe. This idea holds that our universe didn't emerge from a single point, or anything like it. The universe we know takes shape. Cosmologists suspect that the four forces that rule the universe, gravity, electromagnetism and the weak and strong nuclear forces, were unified into a single force, what the universe is birth, squashed together because of the extreme temperatures and densities involved. But things changed as the universe expanded and cooled. Around the time of inflation, the strong force likely separated out. And by about 10 trillionths of a second after the Big Bang, the electromagnetic and weak forces became distinct, too. Just after inflation, the universe was likely filled with a hot, dense plasma. But by around 1 microsecond, 10 to the minus 6 seconds, torso, it had cooled enough to allow the first protons and neutrons to form, researchers think. In the first 3 minutes after the Big Bang, these protons and neutrons began fusing together, forming deuterium, also known as heavy hydrogen. Deuterium atoms then joined up with each other, forming helium-4. The universe becomes transparent. These newly created atoms were all positively charged, as the universe was still too hot to favor the capture of electrons. But that changed about 380,000 years after the Big Bang. In an epoch known as recombination, hydrogen and helium ions began snagging electrons, forming electrically neutral atoms. Light scatters significantly off free electrons and protons, but much less so off neutral atoms. So photons were now much more free to cruise through the universe. Recombination dramatically changed the look of the universe. It had been an opaque fog, and now it became transparent. The cosmic microwave background radiation we observe today dates from this era. But still, the universe was pretty dark for a long time after recombination, only truly lighting up when the first stars began shining about 300 million years after the Big Bang. They helped undo much of what recombination had accomplished. These early stars and where have some other mystery sources threw off enough radiation to split most of the universe's hydrogen back into its constituent protons and electrons. This process, known as reionization, seems to have run its course by around 1 billion years after the Big Bang. The universe is not opaque today, as it was before recombination, because it has expanded so much. The universe matter is very dilute, and photon scattering interactions are thus relatively rare, scientists say. Over time, stars gravitated together to form galaxies, leading to more and more large-scale structure in the universe. Planets coalesced around some newly forming stars, including our own Sun. And 3.8 billion years ago life took root on Earth. Want to know more about world history? Please subscribe and hit the notification bell button to keep updated every video uploaded. Thank you for watching.